Why, hello there and good afternoon, RPG Limit Break, and welcome to this Red Moon Waning match in the Zemus Zone 5 tournament in the Final Fantasy IV randomizer between Nightdew and JudgeJoe. This is a Red Moon Waning. That means it's an elimination match. This is our lower bracket, what we call our Red Moon Waning bracket. And I'm joined here by a vast number of all gauntlet objectives. And Smapty, how you doing, Smapty?
I mean, I can also be an all gauntlet objective if you prefer.
So could I. It's a party. Let's go.
I'll change your names in there real quick. Hi, everybody. Happy to see all of you over here on RPG Limit Break. Very, very excited for this match today. Yes, as you mentioned, this is do or die. This is a waning bracket, so one person is going to have their tournament dreams crushed today. Well, maybe not as dramatic. No,
Gently
we're
compressed.
pretty pleasant about it. Gently pressed. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, not with like a hydraulic press, just like one of those things that you crush aluminum cans with.
Yes, indeed. I also love this matchup in particular because this is an OG and Nightdew been around since the very beginning. Versus the wait, we are now the Gauntlets. Thank you, Scala. Looking at our names. This is old versus
Beautiful.
new. JudgeJoe is a much newer runner. Kind of came onto the scene, I would say, this year, basically, did very well on our ladder and has done very well in this most recent tournament. I think this is going to be a really fun one to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Nightdew, as you mentioned, been around for a while, has actually personally eliminated me from 2 different free enterprise tournaments.
Oh,
so,
neat.
So obviously I'm rooting for JudgeJoe here. No, just kidding. I'm completely neutral.
We're rooting for chat here.
Young today.
Yeah, so we've got that Foo start. It is on a spoon. That's very nice if we find an Edward. Fusoya is like a 9-ish% chance as a starter. We normally on these flags have Fusoya, Cecil, or Edge as starters, and they're all very different how these openers play out, and Fusoya certainly being no exception.
Yeah, Fusoya is really interesting because there's a lot of propensity to just do face checks on bosses with these particular flags. Since we're just doing boss hunts, now there is a lot more incentive to stick around and see the fight through, because with every boss fight completed, Fusoya just gets a little bit more powerful.
Absolutely. And I'm very curious, and I see Nightdew doing this. I was curious if one of our runners is going to prioritize characters because of the power in that spoon. But we got JudgeJoe looking at and finding the Baron guards over in Mist Cave, who Fusoya normally you kind of want to power bonk, or not power bonk, but you start with the Lunar Staff. But they have that counter script making it a little annoying.
Yeah, kind of a surprisingly irritating place to find the guards here when you want to just press A and get it over with. But the Baron couple there with Kane and Rosa, 2 very powerful characters.
Yeah, not mad at all to see that. And I do really going to prioritize characters here. I like this play. Fusoya is powerful enough to get through overworld checks on his own, but boy, that spoon. That's max attack stat. Edward able to wear it. I kind of want a spoon word yesterday.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's just way too much power sitting on the table to just leave that to sort of casually let the characters come in as they go look, see if that Edward is there, put that spoon in his hands, and just make mincemeat of everything on the overworld. Very, very heads up play. Yeah,
absolutely. Now, I will say if Nightdew does not get actually, I should say, if the seed doesn't have that spoon word in it, some runners like to run with Fusoya and not that many other characters. Same with Edge. We see Porum here in Watery Pass. And they like doing that because Fusoya is so it is orders of magnitude stronger than the other characters that you pick up early, that it just ends up being faster to get more actions with him by having less people in your party, basically. But so I'm kind of curious to see also how many Joe wants to pick up.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not something we see often at all. Usually you want to stack that party full, but you're very right. Getting Fusoya to just have as many actions and not having to pass on so many turns, that can be a lot quicker when you're just basically having the beard nuke everything.
Yeah, especially with the vanilla equipment you get in this flag set. Edge is the other starter. That's very much like that. It starts with those double short swords. So somewhat similar in that way. But yeah, characters picked up, and yeah.
We did find, when Nightdew did go to Ordeals, did find a Gungnir lance for Kane. So that is a pretty good piece of equipment that will help him in the early to mid game start to get competitive with damage.
Yeah, Gungnir I'm always happy to see. I'm never thrilled to see it. It's it's a shockingly mediocre weapon that is, in my opinion, kind of overpriced. But for this point in the game, you know, really early, Gungnir is an amazing pickup.
So I believe that is everyone, and no Bard in sight.
Yeah, no Bard. There is a Tella who is certainly a functional anchor. Anchoring is always kind of an interesting thing on Fu Seeds because Fusoya never really gains agility ever. So at the very end of the game, it could be a little tricky to anchor with him in the party. And Porum ends up being a pretty decent anchor, but you kind of want her on the party right now. So yeah, it's good to know who the characters are. You can kind of formulate what you want to do with the team right now.
Yeah, and this is kind of an interesting character spread here. We've got, you know, 2 power characters in Kane and Rosa, the supreme power character in Fu, and then everyone else a little bit middling. Porum, I know, has gotten a lot more love this tournament than she's seen in previous tournaments. People really liking that early access to Berserk, among other things that she brings, but is going to have less late game viability than Rosa. Of course, you know, Tella and Sid, classic slow characters. Tella will have that spell utility. Sid will have that anchor utility. So interesting stuff here.
Speaking of interesting, we have found our alt gauntlet already. It is just sitting here in Outline Cave.
Yeah, this is actually kind of annoying to get this so early when you really don't have strong multi-target abilities.
Yeah, it is extremely annoying. We see Joe throwing out those Thor Rages that you start with, which are you start them because they're the good insurance against Kainatsu at the wrong spot. But I mean, we're able to make use of them in a number of really early alt gauntlets, but this is not actually one of them. We see 2 of them not really doing enough damage.
The rare Fusoya punch there.
There's going to be a lot of Fusoya punching, I think. I also would have liked to see Joe anchor with this Fusoya. Fu starts with 20 agility. Oh, you're right. The actual punch. Did Joe maybe find like a heroine robe? That might be what's going on. Because you want a fast character in the middle.
I didn't see it, but that would actually make a lot of sense if that's the case.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's wearing a heroine robe. Porum hitting
with how
pretty,
fast Porum's going, yeah,
pretty healthy with those hits. Yeah, thank you, Tracker, confirming that it was a heroine robe in the watery pass. Wait, whose gauntlet is this?
Ooh, let's see.
Not mine.
All right, fine. I'll take it. I'll take this gauntlet.
Not it.
Shows up early. It's annoying. Yeah, that's the Smeagty gauntlet.
No. Shows up early and wants to party.
Know, it takes more attention to deal with than you'd really prefer. Forgets to sign up for admin shifts. Yeah, that's the Smeagty gauntlet.
It's the gauntlet that forgets to sign up for admin shifts.
Just gives you an adamant. Nothing really exciting.
No, we love Smeagty.
But we have the exit mage, so we're able to get out of there quickly.
Yeah, and we get an adamant rock for our troubles, but really also that alt gauntlet. I love seeing it early as a runner because it's just kind of a load off of your mind. That gauntlet at the wrong spot can be a real doozy, but it's also kind of a fun game with chat, so I'm a little sad it's gone already.
Yeah, but there's still some nasty things that can show up that'll make chat happy. That's kind of the point of the Red Moon, is that there's a lot of chat pleasers in here.
All right, the other blue robe available immediately on Hobbs. Joe says, I want the experience. Actually, no, sorry. Joe says, I want the boss's stone because it's a Fusoya. So yeah, we're going to take every boss along the way.
This would be a reset in any other circumstance, but with Fusoya, this is a quick amount of XP here.
Yeah,
of spells for food, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. And we see Joe not prioritizing all the characters, kind of like I was saying earlier. Wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get to Mysidia until pretty late. And we'll see how it plays out, but.
So shout out to Joe with the Fire Emblem naming scheme, the other FE that I'm a big fan of. So,
Oh, that is an FE, isn't it?
yeah.
How have I never put that together? It's an FE. Dang it. That's good. I have
So it was a
little
joke because I
experience.
used to stream FE, but now I stream FE.
Oh, really? That's great. I love that.
Looks
Hey,
like we
let's
are going over to Fabul.
Yeah, we're kind of doing our standard routing here. I on this flag set, runners tend to either go, I say, clockwise or counterclockwise. Basically, do you start at Ordeals and go sort of clockwise? Did you start because Ordeals is a character you want to pick up, and then you just end up doing the chuck? Or do you start at Outland Cave and kind of go counterclockwise? I see a lot in this flag set runners kind of going either way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we'll do football defense.
yeah, and you do it here. There's a lot less of that, fading Fabul, hoping for the pan later on than you see in you might have seen in more traditional flag sets.
Yeah, I think you see it a decent amount here, and there's an argument because so we have a forced hook route on these flags, so you can never like fade the magma key by fading Fabul defense, but on a Foo start, I don't think anybody's ever fading this check just because it's another boss.
Yeah,
On top
good
of all
point.
the other benefits, yeah. But more freebies found early. Dark Imps at Fabul defense is nice. Kind of want to see some of these bosses later in the game. Just gives
Little
room for ruder
bit of
bosses
hype in the
later.
chat here that we're getting so many of these freebies early on.
Yeah, there's the Water Hag again over on Nightdew's side. Shout out to Nightdew carting around a mini Fusoya. By the way, thanks, Baron Guards.
I mean, he doesn't need to hit things. Oh, and there's our hook.
All right, couldn't even fade Fabul this seed.
Not an option.
That is our underground access, but again, Joe is going to end up doing everything. We're going to go to Ordeals. We're going to go do Baron Inn. If we haven't done Waterfall, I'm almost certain we're going to end up doing that too. We do have the Fire 2 spell in Fusoya already, but even as early as like 900, 1,000, 1,100 hit points, I mean, he could start getting Virus, Quake. I've even seen Nuke that early occasionally. So you really do want those bosses. Actually going to run to Baron Inn first. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're running this, what would you think the advantage of doing Baron first over Ordeals would be?
Maybe just the routing of getting the characters after this chuck. The other advantage is just going in a direction that you don't think your opponent's going to go. Maybe it gives you a little bit of an edge because this ends up giving you an Earth Crystal or something. But this is objectively the harder chuck, I would say. I mean, it really depends on what's at Baron Inn too. That spot is very slow and very punchy. And we are so fast with that Porm that maybe it's not so bad. It's hard to say.
Yeah. It's very punchy, and if unlike Ordeals where you can take safety saves between, you can't do that here. So if you run into something nasty, like a Lunar Boss here, oh hey, that's on our list.
That's an objective. We've got Fire 3. Joe's gonna queue that up and might not even do anything else.
Yeah, this might be all you need. Yeah, down they go. Easy peasy.
Also, one of my favorite things about being fast anchored, because this game is what it is.
That's white.
Yeah, that's white. Lid 3, Fire 3, Flame Whip, but we got the boss objective, so yeah, that's pretty good.
Anyway, sorry, you were talking about agility. Go right ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to shout out to how fast that Fire 3 spell came out. It's just because the way this game is like coded early Super Nintendo, there's no like simple ATB in this game. It's like based on the agility of the character in the center slot. We don't need to go into all that. It's just you end up having fast characters as anchors in the overworld that just ends up being better to play. And kind of a thing that does also is that all these spells that we know have a long wind-up time, like those tier 3 elementals, they come out much faster. This is always fun to play with early game.
Yeah, simple way to if you're you don't want to get into all of the minutia of agility and remainders, is start with a fast anchor and decede with a slow anchor.
Yeah, exactly. By the time you get underground, transition to a slow anchor is kind of the short rule. There are, of course, always exceptions to the rule, but, you know. All right, now with that Baron done, Joe immediately at Ordeals finds maybe vanilla?
Some flavor thereof. It is indeed
It
fresh
is vanilla. Fresh vanilla. Every time, so this is the Mylon and Friends fight. Every time I think about vanilla lately, maybe I think about there's a certain brand of ice cream at my local grocery store that whenever I open up the freezer and look, I see literally 5 different like flavors of vanilla from this brand.
I think I've been to that grocery store. I think that's Dathis.
Yes, and his grocery store has like natural vanilla, farm fresh vanilla, French vanilla, less guilty vanilla, or whatever it's called. Like there are many.
wait, I'm sorry. Is regular vanilla very guilty? I've never seen
apparently, I don't know. Oh, hey, that's Plague. That's not a fun fight. Fast anchor.
No, not at all. Spot. Not in the back attack spot. And this fast Porum might be coming around to bite JudgeJoe right now.
Yeah, this is the only fight early game you really don't want to be fast anchored for. It just makes the count go down faster. This boss tries to fast your party as a way to speed that count up. It actually doesn't work as like the developers intended, but being fast anchored absolutely does. And yeah, we see a wipe.
Well, that was cheating. It went right from 10 to 0. What was going on there?
It basically did. Well, it's the back attack spot, so it cheats. There's no wait kind of implemented like we do with Wyvern, just so you don't get mega nuked without being able to do anything. So the count gets to go down before you do anything. Now, thankfully, Joe did save.
I was referring to the backwards numbers. It's 10 and then 0.
Oh, sorry, they are backwards, aren't they? There's a lot of fun nonsense that happens here at this.
I love it. Spot. I love it so much.
You get the karate fight or the Odin fight, and they go backwards. You get the kick around the world. That's always a fun one.
It's just amazing to me that the numbers are effectively sprites, so they get mirrored too. It's just I love learning about this game. There we get the white cast off, and it one shots it. Very well done.
Yeah, I just had to transition back to that slow anchor. Good on Joe for saving. A lot of runners, myself included, love to be very aggressive and just not even bother saving between spots. But there are just a couple of fights at this back attack spot that are kind of instant death. And that, for Joe in that situation, was one of them. Absolutely. Compared to Nightdew, who's anchored with that Yang is not nearly as fast and is giving Nightdew time to actually kill off and then pick up a party member.
Yeah, and one of the big things is JudgeJoe had white here because did do Baron in first. Nightdew having to rely on that Fire 3, but it does.
Oh no, Fire 3, such a bad spell. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, does a lot of work for him also early game.
Might be asking how could a tier 3 elemental spell be bad? And it's, well, this game has cast time, and the tier 3 spells have very, very inefficient cast times.
And that's a Luca key for a trigger. Speaking of that karate, by the way, could have been the kick around the world, but instead is kind of chilling in the mirror room here.
Yeah, just had Plague watch a spot. Didn't think our runners were going to get here this fast. Only 16 minutes in, and well, got caught on break inside the shrine.
Yeah, the tier 3 elemental spells. So this is again like a kind of unfortunate side effect of the fact that agility is a thing in this game. When you have a slow anchor, it magnifies the cast time of these slower spells by a lot. Like at Baronin, we saw Fusoya charge a Fire 3 and it barely took a moment before it fired off. When you're slow anchored, that means every other character is fast, including the boss and your characters. You charge a lit 3, and then the boss, if you're not taking actions, the boss might punch like three or four times before that lit 3 even comes out. That ends up being much too slow.
Yeah, this is why in the late game when you have a slow anchor, nuke is so much more preferable to white because of the difference in cast times.
Yeah, instant cast. Instant cast is huge at the late game. But yeah, like that, blink your eyes, you miss it. That's the overworld.
Yeah, that was incredibly fast. This kind of goes to show you just how powerful a character Fusoya is.
Yeah, this is why we have him at like a 9%, chance to start. We didn't really want like too many of the seeds to go like this, but I think Fusoya is a very fun character, at least for me to play and optimize. And yeah, Joe gonna finally pick up his Baron couple in the Lin and Sigurd this time for him. Again, shout out to Fire Emblem. The other FE, I'm gonna keep calling it that.
I do like Kane being Sigurd. That's it. I would have preferred Cecil because he's the famous Paladin Lord, but we'll
Yeah, unfortunately, not in this seed.
Not
so,
available.
Understandable.
Here.
Yeah.
Shout out to FE4. Please play FE4. It's a great game.
The other FE4, right?
Yeah, the other FE. Yeah. Free Enterprise 4. That's what we're doing right now. Oh, hey, Asura in the waterfall. That's something that we need.
It is something that we need, and this would be a very irritating fight. This waterfall has like surprising health and speed for its location in the game because this is Octomam's spot. But yeah, Lit 3 doesn't really care.
Yeah, just the way you have to fight Asura and the way she keeps healing herself, yeah, that can be extremely painful in a late game spot. So definitely one fight you like to see early.
So yeah, just like that, that is 3 known boss objectives going down the hook route. I would say on par, like pretty average. Maybe a slightly above average for all the bosses that are up here. Do have that Golbez left, the Odin, the Orbs, Mom Bomb, and Ogopogo. That is a collection of bosses that the later it gets, the kind of more annoying they are.
Yeah, CPU especially is one of those bosses that can really throw a wrench in your Fusoya shenanigans because of that wall that it puts up. It's very difficult to deal with casters.
Yeah, CPU in general, this flag set, so we have the back row glitch off, which ends up, I think, creating a lot of interesting gameplay that was, pretty new for us compared to, I think, like previous tournaments, the flag being a bit newer. Also, that is nuke for Nightdew. I'm trying to think of what Joe... I don't think I saw Joe having that nuke yet, but maybe he just... Yeah, Joe got exit just now. I'm just trying to think of what boss... Anyways, nuke is available this early. Yeah, that's the important bit. Joe
I must have missed it, but he's got.
Yeah, I missed it too. Well. Yeah, he has to have it. He has to have it. Okay, so yeah, we're really just at just the speed of light mode right now.
Yeah, it really. You mentioned earlier, blink and you miss it. This seed is going extremely fast. We're going down the hook route at 20 minutes, and that's kind of absurd for a red moon flag.
This is a very, very fast time. Oh yeah, the back row glitch. I was going to say that nuke just sort of nuked my brain for a moment. Not having access to the back row glitch against CPU is just very annoying because that big orb is in the back row.
Yeah, and other bosses that can Ogopogo, always a problem, but especially if you're caster heavy because he does not like spells and will counter all of them with some blaze shenanigans.
Hourglasses and Bacchus and that Eblin's shop. Pretty happy to find that. Ninja had a very nice pickup, by the way. So going back to agility a little bit, that Ninja hat having I think it's 3 agility on it. Might even be 5. No, I think it's 3. It's a thing that will boost Fusoya up just enough to be sort of a little bit faster with the anchors that are available, so it's just nice to see that, and I'm not surprised for Joe, buying it.
A little more divergence here. Joe is making the play to the underworld, while Nightdew is gonna bungle around in Eblin Castle a bit, looking for loot.
Yeah, Eblin Castle is one of those places. It's always right here. We're always going down the hook route in these flags. Joe also finding his own Staleman. Might not have really wanted this, but you kind of open the chests along the way, and it's just one you end up touching. These Stalemen are always way ruder than I want them to be, so I don't blame him for just like going straight for nuke.
They sneak under the radar. Yeah, they have wiped me more times than I care to admit in practice seeds because I just kind of really underestimate this fight. It can be very nasty. They punch very hard.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point in the game your party's expected to be level 30-ish, and these things punch hard, and they punch you to sleep, and that's the worst part.
I just realized I said bungling instead of burgling, and that was absolutely the word I meant to say. Excuse me, everybody. I meant burgling.
Oh, I was fully there with the bungling. We're just
it can bungle and burgle at the same time. I guess they're not mutually exclusive. But
my brain went to like we're having Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but instead it's like over in Eblin Castle.
Fusoya's staring at the pointillism painting.
Fusoya is one of the teachers, and everyone else the students.
Fusoya's Ben Stein in this.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, when I was a kid, Ben Stiller was a thing. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna say that is a lunar sparkle sitting in the Rubicante spot.
Yeah, we should keep talking about the seed. That sparkle, yeah, that could be that Ogopogo. That would be an experience for these runners. I mean, we've still got Nuke, but Ogopogo doesn't really like when you cast it against it directly, so it's not the freest fight. So what I was gonna say though, while Nightdew takes on these mad ogres, is the magma key meme has kind of become a thing apparently in this community about being able to get underground, and a couple of people noted my apparent ability at just doing really dry voice. When I was in high school, Ben Stein, people would ask me to do the Clear Eyes commercial. They're just like, do the Clear Eyes, and I'd be like, no, I don't want to. It's just where that brought me. And then the Bueller thing, right, from that movie, which I had never seen, by the way. So I just have people tell me just say Bueller. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what that means.
You know, it's never occurred to me to just this moment that you probably have a wicked Ben Stein impersonation.
I don't know. If we get a magma key, maybe I'll give it my best attempt.
Excellent.
We'll see.
Anyway, Demist.
Yeah, Demist.
That actually means something on Red Moon.
It does. This represents a key item. If this were Martin Broadcloak, every time he sees this Demist, he's hoping it's a magma key, which would completely break logic. So it can't be, but it doesn't mean we're not going to try. I don't mind seeing this now, but I kind of don't mind seeing basically anything because I have Nuke. However,
this is still giving me flashbacks to my race the other day where I had demissed at the Rubicante spot.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you know what? That would be a much worse fight.
Oh yeah.
Now, Joe having used that Nuke and the Staleman, not having the MP to get that final Nuke out, recognized how close that Demus must be to dead. Throws out, I think that was a Fire 1 for the kill.
It was indeed, yeah.
Very well done.
Thinking. That's just that's what you're going to see from runners this deep into the tournament, is people that really, really know how this game works. And, wow, Joe not even going for the safety save, says, give me that Ogopogo. Oh, wow, it is
indeed Ogopogo. Okay. So he's throwing up a Star Veil. This is so he could reflect his nukes. He's going to, I think, want to get Blinks up. The problem with this fight is that, it cuts you down to half hit points, and then it starts punching pretty hard, and then it also starts cutting your health down. So you kind of have to keep up at two fronts while also trying to just Bacchus up and just get out damage.
Yeah, this can be such a difficult fight to stabilize in, especially in this spot where it has a decent bit of speed to it, and of course it's going to pack a lot of punch in those physical attacks. So yeah, this is, like you said, multiple fronts. There's just so much you have to keep going. It's a big balancing act, keeping so many plates spinning at once.
It is, and Joe's visualizing it very well. We see immediately he does Bacchus on Kane. He throws a Cure 3 onto that Fusoya, and then he throws a Blink, I think, onto maybe that Kane, who's his active Zerker. So something you see at this kind of level, I feel, of runners is being able to really visualize how a fight's going to go and know in your head what your menu actions are going to be. One of those things where you don't really see Joe pausing on what his actions are, and you're not going to see it really from Nightdew either. Just kind of knowing these are the steps I need to take in this little dance to get through this fight.
Yeah, and thinking long term here for Joe, getting Tella on the ground so he's not going to get any unwanted experience points, because now you're thinking, okay, this seed's about to open up. My character is about to hit a new tier of power. We don't need Tella helping us anymore, so let's get ready to use him as an anchor in the end game.
Yeah, for sure. Now our party is pretty anemic, but we have nuke. Like 3 nukes, and honestly, could throw an elixir if you need more nukes. We're gonna get through this fight.
The big thing that party is contributing right now is making it that be 1 less nuke that Fu has to cast now.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing maybe 1,000 damage, actually not even really around with the Zerkers, and then Fu gets to throw a nuke and kind of show up everybody. It's fine.
Yeah, that is 3 nukes from Fusoya, so that is going to tap him out. I think they got it, though. Yep, JudgeJoe's through.
Also taps out Ogopogo. Nightdew now getting the news that there's a sparkle down the hook route. Now, Nightdew went to take traps, and I will say with the Fusoya, I find that play a little more challenging for me, because Eblin always represents like additional power with gear and levels to get through a hook route, and you have so much power in that Fusoya. I did miss what he grabbed from this chest, so hopefully he got something really useful for his party. He does have an edge on levels, though.
Yeah, always a chance you can pull something like a Stardust Rod for Fu, and that really catapults him into the stratosphere.
Absolutely. You also get a lot of money from Eblin, just from looting Eblin fully. Just from burgling it.
Yeah, from Burke, thank you. Yeah, it's a callback. We got Dark Elf on top of the tower, not a boss that we were looking for, so that's probably going to keep our runners away from it for a little bit.
If it's not a required boss, that top of tower ends up being not always a last location, but a near last location. Now, we don't have that much to do going underground. Like, we don't have any key items that guide us anywhere except the Luca Cave. And it could quickly get to a point where that darkness is kind of looming on your mind, and that top of tower is kind of at the back of your mind. But yeah, I don't think we're going there anytime soon.
Yeah, if anything, I got to imagine JudgeJoe's going to book it to Dwarf Castle. So much potential there.
Yep, 2 bosses, and we're kind of going in difficulty order of the story, right? Of course, the hook route is your second trip underground, so it's the more difficult encounter compared to just going to Dwarf Castle. But underground here, Dwarf is sort of the least challenging, and yeah, represents 2 bosses, a key item. Makes sense to do this.
But not 2 key items, because we don't glitch today.
Yep, nope, that crystal room, which the devs... there's a lot of like memory saving. There's a lot of like fun memory saving stuff the way they implemented this game, and one of them is that crystal room in Dwarf Castle. It's just the same one as the Luca Cave. They just, I think, set a bit to say that it's the sealed cave to put the darkness crystal in there. That's why that warp glitch works.
Got to save memory anywhere you can on these cartridges.
Yeah, I mean, this game came out in 1991. It was supposed to be a Nintendo game, so I think they also had to kind of rush it onto new hardware, essentially. Hardware that they weren't super familiar with. And ooh, that is 8,000 hit points of CPU at the Calbrena spot.
Yeah, that's this is not a fun place to find CPU.
No, I'm actually kind of, well, Joe will get through it very slowly. Now, there's a couple things he could do. He could YOLO reflect nukes. He could try to get a float onto one of the little orbs, which I know this is going to sound really funny, but these orbs are not floating, I promise.
Consistency is not the name of the game here.
Yeah, no. Does get out the first nuke. Okay, wow, this is really clever of him to know this.
So heads up.
We're fast anchored with Porum. So I was talking earlier about there are exceptions to the rule. So you come underground, you go with the slow anchor, but the doll spot in particular is very, very slow. Anchored with that heroin robe, which has a ton of agility on it, knows that he can cast that nuke out before a wall comes up. And yeah, now the wall comes out. And then we also have Meteo. So we're going to charge rocks here.
Yeah, I mean, you've already got the 5,000 roughly damage on there. Meteo will certainly do the trick. It does not respect reflect, so it'll go right through it, and that should be it for CPU.
Yeah, and it's not even going to take, I don't think, that long for this Meteo to come out. Meteo has an obscene cast time on it, and of course, Porum is just taking actions. Do need to see these rocks come out before CPU. Okay, there we go.
Okay. I was getting a little dicey there. I thought the globes might be around the corner, but no, there we go. For the good of the world.
Yeah, very, very well done. And so this is the exception to the rule. You want to be fast anchored here for fights at this spot, which are normally much, much more difficult at the Calbrena spot than the Golbez spot, where you do want to be a bit more fast anchored. The only punishment would be like maybe if like a Wyvern was here exactly. Wyvern might blarg before you really get to do anything, but nope, we're going to be okay.
And then pointing out that I did use Meteor instead of Quake because Fusoya just learned Quake, so Meteor was the only option there.
Yep. We saw Joe like pause on Meteor for a moment and be like, all right, guess I'm doing that.
Now this is happening. Not a terrible spot to fight Rubicante here. Very low magic because normally this is Golbez, and if it's a spot that uses magic, generally it has low magic to keep the damage low. The reverse is also true. If it's a physical fight, you can expect the magic to be sky high because they didn't bother to think about that spot ever using magics.
You mean they didn't expect us to take this game 30 years later and randomize the bosses?
I know. Come on, future-proof your software.
How
people.
dare they?
on their 1 megabyte of storage space,
right? Which we doubled, I believe. You can still run FE on a cartridge, but I want to say we doubled like the space to allow more things like all our different amazing fab palettes that Scarlet Kitty has made for the characters.
When are we going to get free enterprise Super FX chip support?
Super FX chip? But what can we do with that? Oh, the possibilities.
You could have a polygonal Cecil. Anyway, yeah, that is Nightdew through into the underground as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Chet making a good point here. Yeah, this game is, I mean, I think occasionally you could say this game is a bit poorly programmed because it was rushed, but it's highly optimized.
Yes,
it's kind of the thing about it. It's highly optimized, and for its optimization, there are just a lot of shortcuts that were taken.
Yeah, this could be the GBA version where the ATB system's completely warped.
Oh God. Or it could be the PS1 version where they just took the ATB system and brought it over to the PS1's much better hardware, and then ATB just flies like it's absolutely nothing. Yeah, that would be horrible. But yeah, that's underground access for...
And oh yeah, actually gonna buy an elixir, has enough cash on hand. Very useful because of Fu's limited MP pool.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Joe's got some money there, so that crystal armor. Didn't really see ethers along his way, hasn't really done a lot of shopping. Yeah, actually gonna buy a few more. Wow, okay, that was like 5 elixirs. All right, that's...
I mean, if Fu is gonna power you through the seed, might as well let him power you through the seed.
That's right. I wouldn't mind saving a little bit of that money for sirens, but we might also know where they are. I don't know if he ran to Tomra before coming down to the Fame Arch, but there are not many shops left for those sirens.
Yeah, I have not seen a Tomra check, so I think we only have there and the Hummingway abode for potential siren locations.
Yeah, and now also, by the way, with Ogo down the hook route and CPU at the doll spot, we're at 5 bosses already. We only need 7 of these.
Yeah, neither of the bosses in the Fame Arch are ones that we need, but might as well go ahead and take that free fight while it's there, see if there's a key item there.
So this is King Queen Ublin. Kind of something fun I learned recently. If you are fast anchored going into this fight, which Joe is with the Heroine Robe Forum, the way the script works, you get the king to act and then the queen to act, but the queen is so much slower than the king when you're fast anchored. Effectively, she just ends up acting less, and you get through the fight faster. Like, actually, like, significantly faster, like an order of 20 seconds or so.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty neat.
I swear, it's like every week we learn something new about how it
absolutely. Yeah, I think that was 2 fire ones from the queen. Normally it would be 3. So it's just a little bit faster. And yeah, I like every day, every seed, every week, I swear I'm learning something new. about this game.
A question from chat: did Nightdew get a cursed ring or a dwarf axe? Not that I have seen. I don't think either of our runners have gotten a cursed ring yet, and I haven't seen a dwarf axe either. So as far as I know, we're still nil on either of those.
Yeah, I haven't seen either. If either of our runners would have it, it would be Nightdew, who spent that extra time in Eblik Castle. And that's the Legend Sword. That is Forge on the table. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm almost more interested in doing this to get a peek at the shop than I am the Forge, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, Joe also showing a lot of restraint, not taking on that Valvalis. Joe, of all the runners, kind of in our tournament in general, I would say, very, very, very willing to take on these Feymarch fights. Kind of to his detriment, I would say, and what brought him to the Waning Moon in his race was his willingness to take on that Feymarch as aggressively as he is. So I like seeing the restraint there. The Val's not required. The Val's also very slow to fight.
Oh yeah, even if you've got that cane, it's still going to be a pain. Boy, that rhymes. I didn't even mean it.
A pain with I was gonna say it rhymes. Seraphim, that's thematic, I guess.
Yeah, certainly.
It's a weapon she can wear, or Fu can wear, to be honest. Yep. Probably not going to put it on because it is a white mage stick. Gonna put it on anyways. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Will, of course, is the white magic stat in this game. It increases the amount of healing done, and I believe they also the damage by white. Is that correct?
Yes, that will strongly boost the white spell. It makes sense late game to me because eventually that nuke spell is not really going to be as strong as just zerking up with these party members, but we're not really there yet. But it will make his heals very, very, very powerful. And all right, on to the Luca Cave. Nightdew really hot on his heels, getting through Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, Nightdew not far behind at all. And of course also has that Luca key, so can go right into the sealed cave next if he so desires.
Trying to think of what would stymie Joe in the sealed cave here. Really, Golbez might be the only thing.
Yeah, Golbez
or Magus. Actually, Magus sisters. That would be awful.
Yeah, this is actually a really nasty thing for nasty location for Magus sisters. But yeah, of all the nasty fights that are on the board, those are probably your two that are going to be present the biggest problem. You've got a fully powered Fu, and that is very difficult to stop at this stage of the game.
Yeah, to go back to the theme of like boss spots that have stats that don't make sense at first. So this is the Evil Wall spot in vanilla, right? And the Evil Wall and the Val spot both have that like gradual petrification thing, and the devs just sort of crank their magic stat up, likely just to say, like to make sure that spell never missed. But the consequence of it is that any boss that actually casts spells that deal damage deal a heck of a lot of it.
I don't hate that Dragoon Spear pull for Kane. That's going to be really useful in the endgame.
I don't either, but that's a Kinatsu, and I'd be really shocked. Yeah, so unfortunately, we'd love a Dragoon Spear, but we're trying to go fast.
Yeah, not worth sitting through that fight, absolutely.
Nope, unfortunately. Glad to see that turtle gone, I'm sure, for Joe and eventually Nightdew. Just don't have to tangle with it.
Yeah, he especially in some of the lunar spots, the Hurdle Turtle can really live up to his name.
Now, Joe going immediately above ground after that Luca Chuck, I think this is going to be... this has to be towards D-Mist. Turn this in first before setting up Sheila 1 or thinking about top of tower, because we're kind of running out of stuff to do.
Yeah, now it's become a where are the key items, where's what's going to, get me more checks. That Darkness Crystal is going to be the big thing that our runners are looking for here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is
just
not
a cabin. Sheila, it's not Sheila. Rydia's mom just wants us to be comfy when we go camping.
I mean, yeah, that's fitting, and I definitely appreciate it. Always looking out, but Sure would love a key to a castle instead.
Yeah, I mean, would love a key of any kind at the moment. We're sort of
like, we're kind of hurting for keys.
Literally anything. Even, well, okay, maybe not the twin harp. Chat would love the twin harp. I'm not sure our runners would, but we do see Nightdew cracking a bunch of eggs, by the way. So the sirens must have been there in Tamra.
Yeah, he did find those in Tamra and has decided to go ahead and take his grind right now. Might as well, with how sparse key items have been this seed. It is unlikely that our runners are going to comfortably get to 10 before the end. So go ahead and do it now. Get your party powered up, blaze through the seed, and just make sure nothing can stop you from here.
Yeah, I don't honestly dislike it. We have so few key items. It would be hard. It becomes hard to see a world, though. You never know. You never know with this randomizer. You could end up with like a sudden long chain that leads you to 10 key items. But if you don't trust it's going to happen, where 10 key items gives you double the experience in our randomizer, if you don't trust that that's going to happen, then yeah, I don't blame him for kind of taking this out of the way right now. Get all the experience and levels on your party and get them endgame levels basically as soon as possible. I mean, we're still an RPG, right?
Oh, absolutely. And at the same time, by the same token, Joe's decision not to do that, just as valid. You've got an extremely powerful character in Fusoya. If you want to just take him further into the seed and only grind when you know that you have to, if you're comfortable doing that, perfectly valid choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Fusoya, that strong. I honestly, Fusoya and also like the heroine robe and the like pieces of gear Joe has kind of cobbled together. All right, rat tail from Sheila. And then we're gonna turn right back around and turn that in.
Smells like a rabbit hole.
It also smells like what was okay. Sheila just took a rat out of her kitchen, right?
Yeah, I don't want to think about that any further. This is the bad ending to Ratatouille.
Sorry, not sorry. Sheila, what are you doing with that rat tail? Why are you giving it to us? No.
Sheila's father was the chef in that movie. Oh, hey, there's a key.
Hey, there's a Baron key. All right. This could be a sudden path to 10 key items, by the way. Also, Baron key representing 3 bosses. I don't think we noted that Baigan spot boss. Probably not one we're looking for, but there are still 2 others.
So I think it's Mylon Z.
Mylon Z, yeah. Cat Claw for Nightdew. I love cat claws. They're so good for Young.
Tell us about them.
They have well, all Young really cares about is stats. Young having the sort of monk damage algorithm. Strength and agility does a lot more for him than other characters, and Cat Claw has I think 5 of each. And also gives him 99% accuracy on a weapon, where his other claws don't have that much accuracy. So basically, when you get a Cat Claw, it's kind of like giving him a bunch of levels.
Yeah, absolutely. The big advantage, of course, for Young is being able to swap those claws out for elemental damage, but if you don't need to hit a weak point, yeah, Cat Claw is absolutely your best bet.
And the other thing he cares about is levels, and Nightdew has gained a bunch of levels from those sirens, so yeah. Nightdew, a little bit behind Joe, does have a functional party, a more functional party than Joe, I would say.
Yeah, I wonder if Nightdew is going to feel confident enough to try to take this Volvalis on.
He might.
Because that's always the dream, is to sort of take the Feymarch out in one go and not have to have that lingering in the back of your mind, especially with how few key items that we've seen so far. That Volvalis represents a little bit of a spicy opportunity.
It does, and if you're a person who metagames your opponent, like if you in these one-on-ones, you can take a moment to pay attention to what your opponent loves to do. Nightdew could know that Joe loves to take on these Feymarch bosses and might feel pressured actually to do it. So this is kind of an interesting moment for me.
Yeah, if it's something you know your opponent is going to do, and it's a check that you might not like doing, you can just do it yourself and then know that you're on parity. But just Dolls on the throne, so we only have 1 boss left to potentially pay off here.
1 boss and 2 key items represented by the Baron the Baron bin, and then the Odin throne. And yeah, Nightdew is going to take on this Val. This is Divergent. This could be huge.
Why does both the Baron Bin and the Odin throne both sound like disposal devices?
They also sound like wrestling moves. Oh
my God, he's up on the turnbuckle. He's gonna give him the Odin throne.
Oh no! God, shout out to Microcorgs who puts on the Fire Pro Wrestling Final Fantasy IV edition. I gotta give him that suggestion later. I wonder who would get the Baron Bin as their finishing move.
That's got to be Sid, right?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Sid. It absolutely has to be Sid. Move. Yeah. Oh my God! After all of that, wow. Hold on. Wow. Joe can go underground now. Amazing. Glitter sparkles. Joe's gotta be so thrilled. It's amazing. Wow, the value. We did it. We did it. We can get underground. Oh my God. Wow.
I'm dying. I'm sorry.
That's so good. Yeah, that's not the key he wanted. Didn't get 2 bosses. Like, that Magma key was actually deeply disappointing. But one more shot.
For the overlay.
Yeah, yep. Oh no, there was audio. Oh no, I probably talked over it. That's okay. So good.
All right, yeah, Bahamut.
Not even a boss we need. Yeah, it's just stinky Bahamut.
Might as well do it because there could be a key item that you need.
This castle stinks, Mape, dear.
It does. You know, after you call it the Odin throne, and Baron Castle, more like Foul Aaron Castle.
What?
I got nothing. I have literally nothing anymore after Scotland is pulled. I've got absolutely nothing.
I also have nothing. I'm done. We just pack it up.
So yeah, we're shooting spells at a dragon, and we're berserking our dragoons. And yeah, we should be able to chew through his HP before he gets to the end of his countdown.
Blarg, let me show you how.
Down he goes, and our last chance for this castle to pay off.
The chain continues.
Boy,
Would
this
you
is
like to
be...
do a fetch quest? Sort of a fetch quest if like you're fetching something from the cannon room. I don't know.
So we got a full keyring now finally, and yeah, all of a sudden, yeah, Judge Joe's decision to put his grind off is looking like it's about to pay off.
We did ask for keys, by the way. I feel like we willed this into existence, like literally.
You did, yeah. We just like we willed Ogopogo into existence. Oh,
wow, we're so powerful, Smeepty.
Yeah, we really need checks and limits on this kind of power.
Oh, we do. Yeah. I think the magma key was the checks and limits.
Yeah. All right, so up we go, and we know that it is Dark Elf at the top here, which itself isn't useful, but we've got the super cannon room check and 2 key item checks here as well. Still looking for that darkness crystal.
Yeah, we were so distracted, by the way, by all of that Nightdew getting through that Val, I see he picked up a pink tail for his troubles, meaning that she was not the way towards darkness. That means it's either this tower key or top of tower, which has Joe in the right location.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking earlier about how we don't want to do the tower until it's absolutely necessary, and now it is looking like it is absolutely necessary.
Yep, this is... we saw Joe take a save. I actually would have liked seeing the top of tower play first, because you could reset out of it. That's what taking that save where he did was pretty nice for, but gonna do the tower room. Sorry, the cannon room. Oh my god, words. Why are they hard sometimes?
It's okay. It's not like our job is purely words.
No, it's not my job at all. Yeah. Sorry, the magma key is just completely broken my brain. Who am I? Where am I?
Can give us a warning next time so we can minimize the stream?
No warning. It's much better that way. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that Joe having saved and then gone to the cannon room means either he's going to gamble and hope it's not top of tower, which is very reasonable. You went through all that trouble to get this tower key, like a lot of trouble to get just the tower key. But you're here and you could do top of tower, and yeah, Joe goes left, says no, screw that.
Penguinator
We're
special.
gambling.
Yeah, this is such a gutsy call. This is a call I would never have the confidence to make, but Judge Joe just going, you know what? If I can shave time off, I'm going to shave time off. And if that means banking on this being the darkness crystal, so be it.
Absolutely. I love the aggression, personally. You play this game, you play odds when you play this game, and you play odds like smartly, right? Like you play, what are the better odds, and hope that over playing, these seeds over and over and over again, you hope that your choices are, more positive than negative. But sometimes you just got to make a call that says, I'm gonna coin flip, and here we go.
Let's see if this pays off.
No,
just an ice brand.
No.
Oh, top a tower required. That whole rabbit hole pays off with nothing.
Like actually nothing. And unfortunately, Nightdew also gonna get suckered into literally all the keys, including underground access, that magma key into stone cold nothing.
Yeah, and you can't blame either runner for this, because this is such a potentially lucrative chain, and it is just complete poor luck that it has absolutely nothing to offer.
Yeah, and that Baron key, you never fade that Baron key. That Baron key has decided so many of these tournament matches, gating 3 of those bosses. Like, you're always doing it. Nightdew is going to grab Nightdew's going to swap airships here, turn in that rat tail, get a Baron key for his trouble, and there's no world he does not do that.
Yeah, it's just there's just so much potential behind that Baron key that I can't imagine. I can imagine very, very few circumstances when you don't immediately rush it when you get it.
Yeah, so if you wanted to gamble big on this seed, it would have paid out for you. But I don't blame either of our runners for not doing that.
Yeah. Just with so many bosses still left uncovered, so many key items that we still need that uncover things. Yeah, leaving that much on the table is just too much to ask of even the gutsiest gambler.
Nightdew getting the best edge sword for his troubles from that Valvalis. No edge in the seed.
I was hoping that Valvalis would at least give Nightdew something. Oof.
Doesn't feel good.
Even a white robe or something, but no.
Yeah, and if you're a person who loves to metagame, you might feel like, oh well, I think my opponent did that, so I don't feel so bad. Well, Nightdew going to be in for a rude shock if that's the case.
We have got the Dark Elf to phase 2, and it loses the boss bit in this phase, so Fusoya can easily apply weak, and we can finish it off with a single swipe.
And fight's over. Yeah, that one feels like an oversight, like no optimization or whatever from the devs. I think they just forgot to give the Dark Dragon the boss bit.
I'm wondering, in the
vanilla game... Oh my god, is that the pan?
Oh. Wow.
We see Joe do a little move up and down, like, really?
I'm trying to think, in the vanilla game, what is your party when you go fight? It's Cecil...
Sid, Yang, Tella. You have the party of
Tella,
like...
So yeah, you would have access to weak in the vanilla game. Okay.
Yeah, the reason I remember that is because something I loved about this game in vanilla is the different parties it gives you in different situations, and they give you like different themes. I felt like when you're going up ordeals, you have the mage party, right? And then after ordeals, and you have Paladin Cecil, you get the melee party because you get the boys. You get Cecil, you get Sid, and you get Yang. And then Kella is kind of there to babysit them.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have no spells practically. It feels like, so it just ends up being different.
Yeah, precisely. It's I know a criticism that sometimes gets levied against Final Fantasy IV is that you never get to control the makeup of your party, but I actually kind of find that a bit of a strength in that, like you have to try to figure out the best way to handle each situation with these sometimes unoptimized parties that the game gives you, and I think that's really interesting. I find that to be a fun puzzle. Final Fantasy IX does that as well, and I think it's good there too.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 does it, I think, probably better, having had a lot of time to optimize these different games. But yeah, 4 did it pretty well. And honestly, for all the crap we love to give the After Years does that extraordinarily well, in my opinion, giving you parties of characters who really, want you to lean into certain strategies, and you just sort of have to deal with it. Like that's my favorite part of the After Years.
Yeah, agreed. Evelyn 4.
Yes. The story, it exists, but the gameplay's fun.
So there is a whack, and we get ourselves a darkness crystal.
There's darkness. I'm not even sure Joe's gonna bother. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother to turn the pan. Just like, I just need darkness and 2 bosses. Let's just go.
Yeah, there's just so many boss checks on the moon. It is statistically quite likely you're just going to run into what you need up here. You're going to be on the moon with the crystal, ready to go to Zeromus. So yeah, hightailing it to the moon, absolutely the play here.
Now I'm curious what Joe's going to want to do for his grind. Not really having taken one yet. Not even sure if he ran to grab those sirens in kind of all the zoom we've been doing here.
Yeah, there's if you did get the sirens, obviously there's gold dragons up there that are that are very useful. If he did not, then we could do the giant Cubs rule, pointing out that is all that's a definite opportunity that's on the board.
Yeah, that might be his plan. Okay, we see Joe taking a save while Nightdew is getting through his his Baron Castle of Sadness. We see Joe taking a save. I guess wants to see what Sheila has. Kind of just in case. Could be an Earth Crystal that gates 2 bosses. Well, 1 boss, technically. Chad also asked if we saw a Zot 1 check. We did not yet. Joe might be interested in doing that.
Yeah, if you can get 1 more boss before going to the moon, that could be huge.
Samurai armor. Gonna reset.
Wow. Sheila, please.
So Sheila, in all her infinite wisdom, sometimes I'd have questions, girl. Like, I come to you after all these ordeals, and you have a rat tail and some armor for me.
She just thinks it's funny that her husband's a monk and she has samurai armor. Like, oh, honey, did you want to switch jobs, maybe?
After taking out the trash?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I got you the keys to the kingdom. Oh, a different kingdom. I love Sheila. Kingdom. I like to. I imagine there's so much more sass that she has. my play. It's happening now.
My absolute favorite, my hate favorite, is when Sheila Sheila 1 just gives you the magma key, where she's like, "Oh, did you need this?" And you just kind of like stare at her like blankly.
Yes, he was down there, wasn't he?
Nightdew, yay! Nightdew can go underground now, yay! He did it! Oh my god, so good.
I love the enthusiasm.
Stop! We did it! We did it! Yay! Wow, underground.
And Zot 1 is
just a sparkle.
And we're not even interested in seeing what sparkle it is.
Nope, we gotta go.
Honestly, it's gotta be Pale Dim, or is that all we have left?
Wyvern?
Or Wyvern, yeah, okay.
I think Wyvern's out there, yeah. All right, where are we going, Joe? Oh, we doing the package?
Unexpected, but I like it.
Got some piggy on piggy action, by the way. Oh, and the pigs are burning down the village? No.
This is too much pig. This is too much pig.
No. Pig overload. Pig overload. Joe, at a point where we're gambling, we need to find 2 of 3 bosses.
JudgeJoe is really going ham on Mist today.
Ah! Get out.
This much is just inappropriate.
I'm trying to think of puns. It's not coming. My brain has been fried. It's like
too much for you to handle.
It is too.
I'm begging you to come up with at least one.
Oink.
Well played.
Wow, I did it. I punned. Wow, oh my god, I did it. I said oink.
So yeah, this JudgeJoe, hoping this will be a boss fight. If this is a boss that we need, then this is huge for Joe because he can just face check on the moon, just looking for any one of those remaining bosses, and then he is good to go.
If this doesn't pan out and Joe resets and then goes to the giant, will pigs fly?
No, I think that's a pretty understandable move. I don't think it's that ridiculous.
Okay, first we got to put the piggy to bed. Very important step in this process. Missed opportunity. Oh, okay, so that's this is the pineapple pig. We know that that's Luge.
Indeed.
Shout out to the pig meta. Also, yeah, it's Scala pointing out to me. It's the you got to put the pig in the blanket. But yeah, that's not what we wanted.
So now, if you're Joe, you gotta wonder if Joe's feeling a little worried now because he just made a bunch of extra checks that didn't lead anywhere. And you know that you're this deep in the tournament in the Red Moon, like your competition's fierce. I'm wondering if he's a little bit worried at this point that he might have lost some time.
He might be. But for now, pigs are indeed going to fly as we're heading over to the moon.
Yep, going to check and see what the Hummingways, I almost called them Loprits, the Hummingways have to say here. A couple coffins could be useful. Definitely good for getting that Tella down easily to make sure he doesn't get any XP.
Just a few coffins and the Hummingways die. The coffins they're okay. The alt gauntlets off the table, not really super useful for... We've seen the guards, we've seen the soldiers, we've seen the dark imps. I'm not actually sure there's much left for those coffins to do, but it's always nice to have them still.
Mm-hmm.
Also, chat asking, does each party member have a specific pig sprite? Yes, I do believe that they do. Each have individual pig colors. Which is... The fab colors are also unique to every color. Well, wait, does that mean the fab colors, like the pig colors change? Ah, I didn't know that. So, I've learned something new. So the pig colors, so in vanilla, the pigs, the minis, and the frogs all have different colors for the characters, but we have the fab sprites, right? That Scala Kitty's done for each of the characters. It's like 12 of them or something like that per character. Those are all different for the piggy colors too.
And Odin has relocated his throne to the moon.
Ascending the true throne of the summoned monsters.
Absolutely. Now that you've got that image in my head, I like to think that he uses Entetsuken when he's finished reading the paper. I'm on the classifieds now. You guys better hurry up. And yeah, chat pointing out Bahamut was in the Odin spot. So yeah, just a little bit of trading spaces here.
Now, one thing I want to point out, Joe has not taken a grind. These bosses, depending how many he wants to take, will end up being a grind. But Nightdew, having already done his grind, and Nightdew likely to fade, let's say, the package. like that's a world that certainly could happen. Will find time to make up and also has experience, and will get through these fights honestly a good bit faster. So this is a point for Nightdew. Sorry, for Nightdew to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly something to keep in mind here. Is even though it looks like Joe is very much in the driver's seat here, he still has to get that team up. Nightdew still has a significant advantage in terms of party power. So this race is by no means over.
Yeah, Nightdew took that moment to prioritize getting some experience early on. Kind of bit him early because, well, one, 10 key items sort of suddenly showed up out of nowhere, and two, I think the Fu kind of had enough power. You didn't necessarily need to do it then, but really going to be validated, I think, coming to the moon. However, Nightdew's going to make this Zot 1 check. Don't blame him for doing so. We know it's not going to lead to anything, though.
Yeah, it's that same position that you're in with where JudgeJoe was, where you're one boss away from just pure face check mode. Might as well leave no stone unturned here on the overworld. I'm curious if he'll finish this up with a package check as well.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, so that's one boss down. Joe now just needs one of two. Also, chat asking, I love this question, why is Joe using Nuke and not Lit 3? This goes back to something I was talking about earlier, where this game has an ATB system that was kind of implemented sort of quickly early on in Super Nintendo times. So the ATB is not static; it's based on the agility of the character in the center slot. And instead of going into all the weird reasons of what that means, essentially, Lit 3 and the other Tier 3 elementals at this point in the game they're too slow to cast. Odin would get to punch, maybe a couple of times, and the other party members who weren't really doing a lot of damage would be acting before that Lit 3 would come out. So Nuke does less damage per cast, but it does more damage in the fight overall. And Odin you need to kill immediately, or it's going to Zentetsuken you.
Yeah, and one of the properties of Nuke that really lets it stand competitively, even against effective elemental damage, is that it ignores 25%, I believe it is, of your opponent's magic defense. So it can hit substantially hard, even if you're not hitting a weakness. It's just an all-around great spell.
Yeah, and it has an instant cast time, like very, very important instant cast time. In vanilla, where you have like Cecil as your agility anchor and ATB is more normalized, the Tier 3 elementals aren't really nearly as slow to cast compared to what everybody else is doing. But yeah, because of sort of how this game is implemented and what has become optimal to play at the end game, this is sort of the situation. Finding Evil Wall, not it, but that's okay. We're gonna go top down.
Yeah, and just one boss to go, so yeah, not gonna stick around to get any key items here. The only key item left on the table that can two key items that can gate a boss are the Twin Harp and the Earth Crystal. So very, very unlikely that you're going to need one of these key items.
So you're saying there's a world?
Yeah, I'm saying there's a chance, yeah.
There is a world where this moon has absolutely nothing except one of those two key items. It's incredibly unlikely, though. But yeah, Nightdew skipping out on that package, going to save some time. Actually, going to save a significant amount of time, really. Also heading to the moon, so basically on Joe's heels at this point.
Yeah, and I'm sure leaving that one check behind is going to weigh on the back of his mind, but we know that he's made the right choice here. And just like that, has more or less closed the gap. And with the grind already behind him, once, if we find the boss that we need here on the moon, Nightdew will be right up where Joe is when Joe starts his grind.
Yeah, I would say these two runners are basically neck and neck now, especially if they go down the same path. Joe chose not to run to the Crystal Sword altar immediately. I don't blame him. That one boss is really out of the way. It could be one of the two bosses we need, and the other boss is behind one of these key items we don't have, but Joe likes his odds. There's 3 bosses down here to check, and let's see what they are. Leviathan's not it. That's the White Spear altar. All right, what's in the ribbon room?
Oh,
Oh, that's Blarg. Yep, nope. No thanks.
one more chance. I mean, we still do have to shoot the two bosses on the giant, but
So that means Pale Dim is at slot 1, I believe? I think we've seen
yes,
every
that
other
would have to
winner
be Pale
sparkle.
Dim there, yeah. Because I think that we've seen the other three sparkles.
Nightdew a bit low on MP there, and unfortunately doesn't seem to have a Thunderclaw, which would be a significant boon against this Odin. And the Octomam. Octomam at the Crystal Sword altar. Octopus swimming in crystal, not what we needed at this moment.
We haven't seen wow. Yeah, we haven't seen Crystal Sword altar, so this is the last check.
So this is the last check. I think we're going to see a save. We're going to leave a save somewhere on this moon, preferably the lower LST, but I guess could be anywhere. Because we need to go to the giant after this. There's 2 bosses up there. And then, if they're not up there, then we need to get key items. So we've got 3 boss checks left still. Is this it?
Big reveal here for Joe. Golbez! That is go mode.
It's also one of the better places to find Golbez, though Joe, again, not having really taken a grind yet. Not looking super healthy. I guess Sid is pretty healthy. This spot is Wyvern's altar, and you're meant to survive, like actually survive Mega Nuke, so the magic attack stat here is pretty low.
Yeah, and with enough speed to get that Venom off on Fusoya, venoming his whole party, which may seem strange if you're not too familiar with this version of Final Fantasy IV, but you can only have one status effect on you at a time in this game, and there is a hierarchy of status effects. So when Golbez goes to use that hold gas on you and paralyze you for the cutscene, the paralyze says, nope, sorry, they're already poisoned. I'm a lower priority. They're going to just stay poisoned. So you still get your ATB during this cutscene, which can be very useful for getting your characters up early, getting some damage in on Golbez, setting up. So good play there by Joe, getting that team poisoned as quick as he did.
Yeah, it becomes critical to get party members walled up fast enough so they don't just die. Though at this spot, Fu wouldn't die immediately. I actually think Porn would be okay too, but it also just gives you, more time to, we could start doing things before Golbez is done with his script here. Now, the other thing that Venom has priority over is Berserk, but we didn't have any party members survive that would care about being Berserk, so that's not so much of a problem.
Yeah, it would be an issue for Kane. You'd have to remove his poison and then Berserk him up, but we're pretty magic heavy here.
Yeah, we see a Lit 3 only doing 669, not too damaging at this spot. Just need to kill this Golbez.
669 and then 4,200 damage. We just hit both of the funny internet numbers.
For 2069. Wow, we did it.
Remember when we said we had to be on our best behavior because we were on RPG limit break today?
Yeah, I might have failed us there. Fire 3, that's the spell Joe's looking for. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, Golbez does have a weakness to fire. I always consider
fire and holy.
Yeah, it's very hot in that armor, so I assume that's why.
That's a good way to put
mnemonic
that.
devices to remember a lot of this stuff.
It's hot in that armor. That's what. Yes. I love that. I remember his holy weakness because I guess one, darkness or something, but also two, you have the sword of legend at that point, and I think you're meant to
yeah, the game wants to show off how cool Cecil's holiness is.
They do a lot of that though. The early game, Octomam and Demist, weak to the darkness element, I want to say, which his swords all have. So they wanted Cecil to be the guy.
Yeah, a lot of narrative through game mechanics in this game, and here we go. We've got a high five by the runners, both in Golbez at the same time, and just like that, Nightdew has made up his deficit on JudgeJoe and has his grind already done. he might be taking command of the seed here.
Yeah, just a couple of choices that Nightdew able to find the right fades. Even though Nightdew is up or down, I guess, that Val. Nightdew did that Val in the Fame Arch where JudgeJoe didn't, but yeah, Joe chose to take on that package, and Joe also didn't do the Crystal Sword Altar before the bottom of the moon, which is a fine play. It's completely defensible. I honestly think the odds were better at the bottom, but Nightdew says I'll gamble at the Crystal Sword Altar and is paid out huge.
Yeah, this is great. So JudgeJoe's going to have to go into his grinds now. He does have that 10 key item, so it's going to be a substantially quicker grind than what Nightdew had to do. But Nightdew still has to get through this fight. Just getting through the cutscene now. It is going to be close. If I were a betting man, I would say Nightdew would have a slight edge here, but we're going to see a simultaneous Zeromus fight here for sure.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say. This fight is going to take a moment, honestly, against Golbez here. And also, I'm wondering if Nightdew's party is anchored or not. We talked about if there's a cursed ring in this seed or not earlier, and I think neither of us were completely certain about that. Anchoring at the Zeromus fight is very important, just because of how tight that final boss fight is.
Yeah, I have not seen any of those anchoring items, cursed rings, or dwarf axes, but I mean, I also didn't see my dog in the room when I quite clearly wanted to get my dogs out of the room, so it was really dark during commentary, and she's sitting right here looking up at me like, what? Why can't I be in here? So, yeah, might have found one, but I don't think they have.
Does your dog love to come in and like, give you those eyes that say, like, why isn't there food in my mouth?
100%
right now.
of the time.
Yes.
And she's got like these giant deer ears too, so she is JudgeJoe going in without a grind?
Yeah. Joe, get your Z flags out. We're going.
Is this solo Fusoya strats that we're about to see?
I think we're healthy enough that we're gonna lean on very, very, very poor Zerkers and Fusoya as our healer.
Wow,
but he switches to a black mage weapon. I don't know. We'll see what his plan there is.
You've mentioned just how aggressive Joe has been taking this seed.
Yep.
And this is probably his most aggressive move yet. I love it. You're facing elimination. You're up against Nightdew, one of the strongest runners that has been playing for so long. Yeah, like go for it. If you're confident enough, absolutely go for it. But this is big because he's going to go into his Zeromus fight first, and one wipe and everything swings back to Nightdew.
Yeah, Joe has, I would say, become very good at these lower level strategies. I go back to that Fame Arch conversation frequently this seed, but low level Fame Arch fights are just, in my opinion, another flavor of low level Zeromus fights because it's just trying to do as much with as little as possible. And Joe saying that Fusoya is strong enough against this boss that I could survive.
But
yeah, but something but Scooty.
Whose butt are we gonna kick this afternoon?
Yay, we said it. Yay, you did it.
I said the thing.
You said the thing.
Butt cute? Does the butt have a hat? Is the hat cute? Does the hat have a butt? Is the hat's butt cute? So many questions about to be answered. The true form. Oh, hey, it is a butt.
It's literally a butt.
It absolutely is a butt.
And it has a butt.
It does have a butt, and the butt is cute.
Very cute. Normally we have this spiel about Zeromus and not moving him. You don't want a big bang and Baron and blah blah blah. But like, there's been no time. There's no time to talk about this. We're in this fight.
All right. So how do you think JudgeJoe is going to approach this fight?
We see. So he could choose one of two ways. You can either just Zerk up the party and just do this very low level Zerker strat thing. Or you can do as much damage as you can and then choose to reflect the final bit of damage. So again, the theme of this race has been talking about how this game is optimized with with memory limitations. This boss and another boss spots can only have 65,000 hit points at max, just because of memory limitations. And one way to get around that is to they implemented a refill script. So when Zemus takes damage at a certain threshold, it will refill its hit points back up to max, so you get to fight it at the full 1,000-ish hit points. But if you reflect damage, you don't trigger that script. So I think Joe might want to lean towards that strategy because his damage is he has very low damage output, so might be very incentivized to try to deal all of this damage reflected. That's sort of what I think he's going for here.
And thanks to Gambit in chat pointing out 2 minutes and 48 seconds is the differential between Nightdew entering that fight. That is how much time he has to make up with his stronger team. Probably going to be going for more traditional strats here. Yeah, I can't imagine him doing pure reflex strats here. Sid is exactly who you want that counter nuke to hit, though.
Yeah, Nightdew instead is just gonna say, I'm just gonna Zerk up my team. I've got 3 very strong Zerkers here, or at least 3, I guess, middling Zerkers. They may be not the strongest, but I got 3 Zerkers. I've got my nuke caster. Just gonna have to manage Rosa not dying to these big bangs.
Yeah, and that is some substantial damage coming out from Yang. They're hitting for over 2,000. That is going to be the bulk of the damage there. Kane certainly going to be helping as well. Sid's going to be very slow, not going to be hitting, doing an enormous source of damage, but certainly helping. Every bit is going to help because this is going to come down right to the wire.
Yeah, going to come down to right to the wire for both of them. We're not anchored on Nightdew's side, which just means that Zemus is going to get more actions, more big bangs, faster. Not really what you want, but does give him that functional third party member, which normally when you have an anchor, like we see the Tella on Joe's side, that they're just sort of party member not doing anything. Joe, in the meanwhile, really well set up here now. I think all the Star Veils appear to be up. We're reflecting damage. Still directly doing some damage because we know we haven't really hit that threshold yet. Yeah, this is going to be really close, maybe.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those ones where I think it comes down to big bang rolls. There's such a great variance you can get in because of the way Big Bang's damage is calculated that when Big Bang shows up on the screen, everyone holds your breath because I think that's going to determine the fate of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of these fights, they're not like super fast. They're not super overpowered. So, we're going to have a bit of a slog here for both of our runners, numerous big bangs and just sort of trying to bleed Zemus out. So like from a who's in the lead perspective, it is impossible for me to say right now.
Big bang for Nightdew. Decent
Rosa
rolls there.
lives.
Hangs on. Rosa lived. That's the important thing for Nightdew. Get that Cure 4 up and, survive another cycle.
Well, Rosa and Fusoya really has two functional white mages now in this fight.
Yeah, Fusoya with a slightly higher HP pool is a little bit more likely to survive. Here's the big bang for JudgeJoe.
So this is nerfed. Joe will have 2 party members survive, but Kane will go down. We're going to be down to 2 party member strats now. Throwing out that crystal. This is going to get reflected nuke. This is no.
It's on Fusoya. Oh no, that's not good news. Fusoya's down. Oh,
and the crystal goes out again.
Sid. Oh, that is heartbreaking.
It should be reflected. Yeah, did Fu have a wallop that dropped? This is recoverable. It's just gonna be. It's gonna take time. Joe has to pick up Fusoya immediately, heal his party, probably just set up to survive by nerfing a big bang and not deal any damage this round, and be prepared to take on the viruses that's gonna come afterwards. It is recoverable. It is going to slow him down. He's gonna have to navigate this perfectly. That's the shake already. Just not sure what to do. Throws out a Star Veil. Elixir on Fu.
This has got to.
We don't have time.
He did. He got it. Okay.
No, but we don't. That shake came out. Yeah, that's the big bang. We don't have time. Fu needs to survive, and the nuke needs to kill. That might be what we're going for here.
Yeah, this could be a Hail Mary. Oh, it rolls high.
Oh no!
Oh, we talked about that. Oh, the variance. Giants just catches up to JudgeJoe. It's just too much time. Nightdew is in the driver's seat for the first time this seed, and as long as he can hold this out, this is his race.
Fu nearly took it at that Big Bang also. Nightdew not through this fight, by the way. Rosa is down, and we don't really have time to pick her back up at the moment. Gonna have to get those Zerkas going back out. I mean, the good news for Nightdew is that Yang and Sid are so healthy that I think we're unlikely to wipe in this fight, but I mean, this boss finds ways.
Yeah, all it would take would be another one of those, but we're in medio phase, rocks are falling, that means we're at the last 12,000 HP. Nightdew is on the verge of a comeback. Can he clutch this out?
Yeah, this is almost a done deal, I gotta say. 3 Bacchus are gonna come out, 1 Cure 4 maybe for safety.
Here's the second medio. Kane has to dodge this or he is down. Everybody else is going to be down to sub 1,000 HP. No, Fu dodges.
Good job, Fu. Where's our Cure 4? Oh, there it is. Nightdew.
We are getting so close to the end here. A few more attacks should do it. The Cure 4 for safety is going to get everybody up to survivable HP totals for that meteor. There's a meteor holding on to Fu's turn there to be able to save. Does not want to drop this late into the fight. Fu dodges the meteors again. Critical hit by Sid, and that does it. Nightdew has helped from behind and has won this match and stays alive in the Waning bracket. What a race.
Incredible. Well done, Nightdew. Big GG's with an official race spot time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 14 seconds. Able to take that victory against Joe. Wow. What an incredible race, matey.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And we are joined by Nightdew himself, the winner of today's race. Nightdew, GG. Wow. Just how bad were your hands shaking when you got to the meteor phase there?
A little bit. I hated eating that black hole. I mean, I knew I had it. I mean, I had just used an elixir on Fu. I had Cure Force for days, so it really wasn't too bad. It was just more of the whole... honestly, what had me more shaking, really, was just how much got cleared, how much, I mean, what happens if, Judge went to Keyless Tower really quick, and I just fell into that gigantic rabbit hole.
You mean you didn't love the fact that you could go underground and get sent to the tower cannon room for, like, a fire sword or ice brand or whatever that was?
Oh, yeah, lovely ice brand, yes.
So yeah, there were a couple of checks that you left undone before heading to the moon there to sort of finish things off. Were you ever concerned at some point that you were leaving behind something critical, or what was kind of the calculus that made you go for the moon when you did?
So I had Sheila too, but I was just kind of rocking. I really only was missing at that point Earth Crystal, Twin Harp. I was leaving package, and honestly, that was about it. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of looking at my boss tracker, and I'm like somewhere, quick count while I'm trying to think of everything else, like 9 to 10 bosses, and 6 of them are up in the moon. So at that point where I'm like 5 out of 7 bosses, but the lion's share of what I have left is up there. I'm feeling all right, especially when Odin shows up in K value. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna find like 1 out of these 5, and apparently we I just kind of turned it on after I got to the credits here, and it's like, oh hey, look, neither of us found Mom Bombs, so I'm guessing both of us kind of had that same routing, I'm guessing.
Yes, yeah, very much so. I would say Joe was basically ahead of you that entire race. There was an inflection point where you ran to Castle Eblin, and Joe just ran down the hook route and sort of took a lead there that he never really relinquished until the very, very end, where really he ran to the bottom of the LST before the Crystal Sword altar, and he also checked the package. Those ended up being the major differences, and then also this Zemus fight.
Yeah, I mean, for what I took there, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll grab a curse ring down the line, but at that point, I'm kind of less anchored. I would have loved to, have a little bit more of a grind at that point, just to get Yang a little bit faster, but I mean, I drank most of those 25 Bacchus wines, so, I spent a lot of money, but I made all that money in Evelyn, and it was kind of required for what party I brought there, so... no real regrets other than, like 2 ninja swords, a Masamune, all that stuff. And I'm thinking, like, especially like when I'm going to Forge, I'm like, man, this could be like any cane, this could be like any Yang weapon, it could be like Giganax, it could be any of Sid's hammers, it could be a Piggy stick, it could be Abel's lance, any of that stuff be value. I'm like, bam, no form stick.
Yep. So you, pardon me if we just asked you this, but that Val in the Fey March, was that something you were always willing to do? Like, what kind of guided you towards taking that on when you were down there?
I had done those sirens up top to get Rosa to Cure 4. That was my target when I was doing those sirens up top there. And basically, my whole idea was, I'm going down to this Fey March, and anything willing, I'm not coming back. And I see that Val, and I have 2 Blink Casters and 3 people to drink Bacchus wine. I'm like, well, that's what you need for Val, so let's just get it done.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
And no darkness in my pocket, yes, yet.
Right, yeah, of course, darkness being the critical piece.
I did want to ask, because you did your grind relatively early, just basically as soon as you had sirens available, and I think you did dwarf before that, but what was, were you just thinking, well, this is looking kind of dirt on key items, or were you just not comfortable with your party power? What was sort of the logic behind taking the grind when you did?
I mean, the first one was just to get that little kind of push. I like to do kind of 1 or 2 sirens, like what I have at the beginning, if for whatever reason, and food is around, so that's why they didn't get used on ordeals. But yeah, like kind of burning those, kind of getting a little bit of a power jump right before you get to dwarf, and I'm like, okay, and kind of and I did kind of answer my question there. I kind of thought like, well, let's be efficient about this as we can. Let's try not to double dip anywhere we can. So let's just. I know Fey March sometimes is the Fey March, but yeah, that was the whole reason. I'm like, okay, let's get Roasted Cure 4. At that point, I can have food do other things like nuke or stuff. Everybody's all got Bacchus. Let's just clear it all out in one go.
Gotcha. Well, you ran an absolutely incredible race. Just flawless execution all the way through. It was really a joy to watch. Staying alive here in the Waning bracket, how are you feeling about the competition coming up?
I mean, it doesn't get easier.
It never does.
No, it really doesn't.
I actually have to look. I mean, I try to.
Oh, I can tell you, your road is through either Zilch or Mike, and then assuming you get through that, you get to face 1 Decker Smash after that. Yep.
Decker Smash, the person like my bracketology had winning the whole thing on waxing. Oh yeah.
Yep. yeah, that person.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty good last I checked, but yeah, I mean.
Yeah, he's pretty okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
But so are you.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you shake a little bit, sure, but I mean, we're here to have fun. It's pretty much what we're doing.
That's right. We are here to have fun. It's very important to remember that. Well, that was a heck of a race. It was such a joy to watch Nightdew. Do you have any last words for us before we let you go?
No, I think that's it. Other than a shout out to both of you here, Scala Kitty, who was trekking today?
Raging Levine.
Raging Levine. Okay, so yeah, Snape D. Solaris, Scala for running all of our favorite seats here. And my phone JudgeJoe for a heck of a match here. I'm gonna absolutely love rolling back here, but yeah, everybody we cannot do this without. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and thank you so much.
Take care, Nightdew. Best of luck in the rest of your matches.
Thank you.
And with that interview out of the way, we're also done with the seed. Big GG's to JudgeJoe getting through that Zeromus fight with like a Fusoya, like some duct tape and some prayers. Big GG's out here for JudgeJoe. And we are joined now by Joe. GG's, Joe.
Thank you. GG's.
How you feeling?
I'm definitely disappointed. I know I can definitely do the Zeromus fight, and kind of a little annoyed at myself that I ended up wiping there.
Yeah, I can understand that. I had a similar seed, not with the Fusoya, but one recently where I also wiped at Zeromus. Did not feel very good. I guess walk us through just at that fight, like what went wrong or like what happened that that kind of I guess took that fight away from you, and then we can move on from it.
So I think kind of two things ended up going wrong there. The first thing was the wall wore off. I ended up targeting walls. I did food, then I did
They were cast walls, yeah.
Because I only had 2 star veils for the fight.
Right.
And so, in that order, they wore off. Based on the fact that it was only one cycle that I did Tella wall on Fu, Tella wall on Sid. The wall on Sid stayed. It just barely fell off. So the extra damage I was trying to push from a couple crystal throws ended up getting rid of Fu because I lost the first of what would have been 2 50-50s at that point.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good to evaluate and understand, what happens to these fights. You absolutely had and have the skill. I mean, what you showed this seed was honestly a masterpiece. If I don't know if you're one of those people that likes to go back and watch a race, after a loss. I am not one of them personally, but you will see a race where you were in the driver's seat for pretty much the entire thing. I mean, what you were able to show, I think, will stand the test of, is Joe a top tier runner?
Yeah.
Answer: watch this race.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to ask you about that because it was a comment that we were making throughout. Is just you were running this so aggressively. It was really fascinating to watch. Is that just your preferred pace of just kind of jumping into checks very, very quickly, not taking a lot of time for setup or grinding or what have you, or was that a little bit of the tournament pressure? What's kind of your philosophy when it comes to that?
I'm always much more of an aggressive runner than very much most people. If I can take a fight, I'll often take it, and I'll take fights at much lower levels than others would be willing to take it. In other seeds with Zerkers, as long as I have Blink Casters and Anchors, I'll take most Fey March bosses at level 30s if I feel my setup's good enough. In this seed specifically, I had a Fu. RA1 Fu can take nearly anything, and as long as he has just the right little bit of help. The Archer, Bow, Charm Arrow, Heroine, Porum was kind of the help I needed, along with a couple of HP people in case things got a little rough. I felt pretty confident in my ability to take a Fu and Friends Zeromus fight, so once I had a set up a party that felt like it worked, the plan was to just go. And then just couldn't quite find the last couple of bosses before time. I'm assuming Sirens were in the one shop I didn't check.
They were in Tamra.
The one shop I didn't check.
Yeah.
I still had one, could have taken Gold Dragons, but to get some HP on my party, maybe done a hybrid strat or something with Porum, Kane, Zerked up, Sid as a chemist, and Fu helping out with nukes. Could have gone and pivoted to something like that, but I had my plan in mind, and that's why I bought a bunch of elixirs when I did, because I've done a lot of Fu fights. Elixirs is the big thing. Allows you to heal your MP, HP at the same time, then you can just wall nuke. The issue was I didn't exactly have mage gear for Fu.
Yeah, fair enough. You had the one, I think, stat stick and the weapon, and the sword Kirby started with, and that was kind of it. But yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense to me to have the plan. I think the mark of a really good runner, and I talked about this a little bit, or we talked about this a little bit, is that when you can visualize in your head how you want fights to go and how you want a seed to go, so that you can execute it quickly. And I mean, you really nailed that. Only other questions I want to ask. So we talked about, your willingness to take on these low-level fights. What guided you away from fading the Val and the Fey March?
My setup was really rough. I don't know if Kane's level. I didn't check his agility, but don't know if Kane was RA1. My setup at that point was my main damage was a very low level Kane, lower level than most times I hit Feymarch, and then Porum. So Zerking through it, which is what I will typically do if I see that Vow, didn't have the setup for, and it's a bit of an iffy fight trying to time the jumps. I think I could have gotten through it, but it would have been a lot slower, and I did not expect my opponent to end up taking it, although I hear Nightdew did.
Nightdew ended up taking a bit of a grind before going down that Feymarch with the sirens he found. So less kind of an under 10k item grind up to Cure 4. So kind of had the setup to take on that fight. Ended up being, I think, just a Pinktail. So nothing really lost there. And then the other thing I wanted to ask about was just what guided you towards the package. At the very, near the very end, you've got Darkness. The bosses are like Package, Giant, Moon. What made you choose the package?
I didn't have the pass. I felt pretty solid about what I had done through that point. Hadn't hit any snagging points. Early game felt maybe a little slower than I was hoping for, but still nothing too troublesome throughout most of the game as up to that point. So I thought I had a little bit of time, and it would be very understandable to see a runner looking at needing 3 bosses, not wanting to do the Giant, not having Zot, not having Twin Harp, and decide to take one of either Zot 1 or Package. I didn't really want to end up losing to my opponent decide to take that while I went Moon and had to go down and up. Wasn't sure. I had a low level party, so an alternative thing I might do in stronger parties, like Fu can take a lot, but 65k is not great. If I'm feeling dubious about there being the bosses on the LST, I would take Giant into there. I didn't want to do that, so I decided to go and finish clearing my Earth checks, so it was fading, gambling that it was at that point, there was only going to be 4 checks that it could possibly ruin my day. Yeah. And it nearly was.
Yeah, no, completely fair. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I loved your half tower play also, just the aggression of deciding, I had this chain, I'm just going to chase it. Different formations of the seed, might have gone a bit differently, might have hit. Sometimes rando, just going to choose to rando. But again, very, very well done race. It was such a pleasure to watch.
It was definitely a fun seed to play. GG's to Nightdew for finding the faster way through the seed. I will probably end up watching it back. I watch back most of my races. It's always good fun to see what people have to say. Always things I can learn at times. And I'll be watching and doing my best to help out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, we always love having you here. We took this seed super seriously, by the way. No jokes or memes.
Yeah, not a single one. No laughs or guffaws or anything.
Nope.
So you managed to not say the line when I got the magma key?
Look.
Oh, you just wait till we get to the magma key, buddy. Well, it is a pleasure having you in the tournament. Thanks so much for coming in and talking to us, and best of luck, rest of all your matches, and looking forward to having you around. And just thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to the next tournament.
Absolutely, we'll definitely be glad to see you there.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Joe.
Here, Joe.
Oh, Smabdian, just like that, we're done.
We are, but we are not done with Free Enterprise today, not by a long shot. we're going to be setting up over on the Free Enterprise Prime channel with Dragus versus Rex Banner in another Red Moon Waning match. So another decisive match where someone will move on and someone will end their tournament run. That'll be absolutely a blast to watch. We're going to raid that here in just a second. And also tonight, 7 p.m., we're going to have Zeke versus John Brickhead, game 1 of that match over in Blue Moon Waxing as we get to the end of that particular bracket. So definitely check that one out later today.
Yeah, for sure. And we've also got a couple other races going on. If you're in our Discord and have access to our League Matches channel, or you have access to it if you're in our Discord, so definitely come in if you've been watching these, especially if you're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. There are matches. We can't get them all on Restream, so we've got Funnel Cakes versus Frankie Bones. This is Blue Moon Waxing Game 1. They are playing off Restream right now. That match is starting right now, or very, very soon. And then we're also going to have Dipwood versus Guer, and this is a Blue Moon Waning match. That is an elimination match. That is also going to be off Restream at 9 p.m. Eastern. So lots of free enterprise now, lots of free enterprise to come in the weeks to come. So yeah.
Yep, and for our restreamer Scala Kitty and our tracker Raging Levine today, and of course my co-commentator Solaris, my name is Smapey. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.